Howdy folks, welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with our mighty Jingles. Today we're looking at the T34 American Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank. A gold tank. This one costs real money. This is not my garage. I already own the Lurver and the Type 59. I have two very good Tier 8 Premium Moneymaker tanks, and I saw no reason whatsoever to fork out for yet another Premium Tier 8 Heavy Tank. I already have one. So one of my subscribers, Sean203, has very generously offered me the use of his account for a couple of days so I can review his T34. So here it is, and you know what, I kind of like it. It plays differently to the Lurver. It's more of a, well, I'm not going to say it's a brawling tank. It certainly isn't. It doesn't have the hull armour for that, but it's totally different to the Lurver. It's not a sniper at all. So we'll have a look at the stats and then we'll talk about how the thing performs, watch a couple of replays, and I'll give you my verdict. So here we go. 1500 hit points. It's a fairly respectable chunk of health for a Tier 8 heavy. If you look at the other Tier 8 heavies, the IS-3 for example has 1500 as well, and the IS-3 is an exceptionally good Tier 8 tank. What other Tier 8s does he have here? There you go, the KV-4. Well, there's another tank I haven't played. KV-4, yeah, 1650. This is an absolute fortress of a tank. So 1500 is good. It can take a few hits. It's quite heavy, 65.84 tons, with a 71, nearly 72 ton weight limit. But it's a premium tank. There is no research tree for it. You know, you don't really have to worry about fitting anything other than modules. You know, gun rammer, stuff like that. And they always have more than enough load limit spare for you to fit whatever you want. So yeah, and it does have quite a powerful engine, 810 horsepower. I could sit down and work out what the power to weight ratio is, but I'm really lazy and I suck at maths, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you that it is surprisingly mobile. In a straight line, it does accelerate reasonably well, a lot better than the Lurver does, but it just doesn't turn very well. That's the problem. It's a big heavy tank. The traverse speed is only 22 degrees per second. The turret traverse is monstrously slow. It's as slow as the E75. That is really slow. It's only 2 degrees per second faster than the M18 Hellcat. And the M18 Hellcat, if you want to turn the turret, the command has to get out and push it. So yeah, the turret does not turn very fast at all. And that's another reason why this is really not a brawling heavy tank like the E75 is. But it's not a sniping heavy tank like the Lurver is either, and that's because of the gun. But we'll come on to that in a moment. The view range is not bad, 360 metres. You know, it's okay, it's average. It's got very good signal range though. Now, the gun and the armour, the only two things we haven't really looked at. Armour-wise, it's a typical American heavy tank. It's got paper for a lower hull, and it's got a very tough gun mantle. So the armour at the front is 102mm, which is pretty poor for a Tier 8 heavy. It does have a pretty good slope on it, however. But what I'm finding with the T34 and other T34 drivers, you know, let me know in the comments. If you try to angle the hull, there seems to be, in fact, if you look at the top, look at the armour or the hull layout. Right, you've got the track sitting on the side here, and then you've got this square but angled front hull. And then it kind of sticks out at the sides. It's fatter in the middle. It's very square and flat in the middle, as opposed to at the front. And what I find happens alarmingly often on the T34 is if you're engaging a target to the front and you angle to, you know, increase the chance of a bounce on your upper plate and reduce the vulnerability of your lower plate, shots will come in from here. They'll blow your tracks off and they'll penetrate the side very easily. This bit here is actually kind of square that sits, and there's almost no armor protection on it. And I don't know if this is a well-known weakness on the T34, but it's something I've found, is that it's very difficult to angle this thing effectively when you're coming around a corner. And it's purely because this bit here tends to get hit every single time. That might just be me. T34 drivers, let me know what you think. And of course the side armour is only 76mm thick, which is awful for a Tier 8 heavy tank. It'd be awful for a tier 7 heavy tank. And the rear armour, 51mm. Absolutely horrible. However, it's an American heavy tank, and they have ridiculously tough turrets, and this is certainly the case with the T34. The frontal turret armour is 279mm thick, same as the second turret on the T29. And look at the gun mantle. you will get bounce after bounce after bounce from the front of this turret. It is ridiculously hard to penetrate. And if people try to shoot around the side of the gun mantle, because you manage to get yourself hull down, and this is all that they can see to shoot at, well, look at the amount of slope that you've got on the sides of the turret cheeks there as well. It's very, very bouncy from the front. I think there is a very, very small and very hard to hit weak spot just there, above the top of the gun mantle, where the front of the turret is very, very flat, but it's a tiny target. Other weak spot from the front is the commander's hatch, but again, it's not that easy to hit, and it's a rounded commander's hatch, so you really need to hit it square on, because if you hit it at the side here, it's going to bounce off. If you hit it at the side there, it's going to bounce off. You really need to hit the front and middle of that commander's hatch to guarantee a penetration. So if you can get this thing hull down, just like the T29, just like the T32, it is very, very hard to kill. Of course, artillery loves it. Artillery loves to land hits right on the top of the engine deck at the back there, and that will mess this tank up big time. You're constantly getting your tracks blown off by splash damage, and so on and so on. It's just, you know, driving a heavy tank in World of Artillery. It's just the way it is. Now, the gun, and this is why this is a completely different tank to the Löwe. For a start, it actually has good frontal armour if you can go hull down. And the gun is nothing like the Löwe's gun. It has better penetration, better damage, not as accurate, but still reasonably accurate. Aiming time is awful, and the rate of fire is ridiculously slow. In fact, let us have it. Does he have a Löwe? No, he doesn't. Let's just compare the guns. I'm going to have a look at the store, because it ain't in the tech tree. Well, and in fact, if it's not in the tech tree, you can't compare the gun directly. But from the top of my head, the Löwe, I think, has a faster rate of fire. I know it doesn't have as much penetration. I think it has 232 mils of penetration. Pretty sure the gun doesn't do that much damage either. But it is more accurate, although not by much. And the aiming time isn't nearly as bad as that. Overall, yeah, it's not a bad tank. I wasn't expecting the gun to be as accurate as it is. I thought this was going to play a bit more like the T30, with this horribly inaccurate derp of a gun, and it is a little like that, but it is more accurate than I expected. It plays a lot like the T29, and that's kind of what it's like. Just the T29's gun isn't as good in most respects as this one. That 105mm gun that the T29 gets is a great gun on the T29. It's not such a good gun on the T32, a tier higher at tier 8, and this definitely has a better gun than the T32 gets. That 105mm gun that the T32 and the T29 have, this is a better gun. It doesn't fire as quickly, but it penetrates more and it does more damage. It's also more accurate. So this is it's kind of weird, because generally you expect a premium tank to be better than a stock tank of the same class and the same tier, but not as good as a fully upgraded tank of the same class and the same tier. So you wouldn't expect the T34 to be better than the T32, for example. And yeah, I think it is. It's certainly got a better gun, and it's just as tough in a hold down position. And I liked the T32, I liked it a lot. And so I'm finding that I'm liking the T34 a lot as well. So how does it play? Well, it gets into some tough games, but it can look after itself. You just have to keep that hull covered up, and try to play it hull down. If you get it on a map without any artillery, you're absolutely laughing with this thing. It doesn't like street maps though. You know, neither does the T29. Not most of the American heavies don't like street maps, because there's limited opportunities to cover up that weak lower hull. But let's have a look at a couple of games and see how we did. Okay, here we are on Malinovka, and I've skipped ahead to after the first 3 minutes of the game, in which I did nothing but shoot at and hit one shot at a Type 59 as it scooted across the middle of the field, doing his best impression of an idiot in a T50-2. And absolutely nothing has happened between then and now. There's been literally nothing for me to shoot at. And this is always a problem with a heavy tank on Malinovka. You can either camp the base, go and die in the middle of the field, go and die on the plateau around the village, or spend half of the game driving up the hill, arriving late to the party and finding everything dead by the time you get up there. Or everything that you sent up there has died and you're the next one. It's... yeah. And you know, this isn't the fault of the T34, this is just the way Malinovka plays out. But there's no shortage of trouble on top of that hill, if I can just get up there. This is a really heavy tank, and the engine's quite powerful, but it's not powerful enough to get it up hills at any degree of speed. Oh, here comes a Tiger. That was a good hit. He fires, he misses, somebody else kills him. And that's pretty much what happens in this game. I spot an enemy tank, fire, hit it, somebody else kills it. I never seem to get more than one damaging hit on anything. So here's 6. Lovely square on, lower plate, bang, good solid hit. Then artillery really screws him up. It was my second shot. Same angle. Penetrates, does no damage. But you know, this is no criticism of the T34. It's just the way the game works. We finally made it to the top of this bloody hill, and almost too late to do anything. And of course, artillery's having a field day. Now, I know they still have a Jagdtiger around somewhere, and I'm very conscious of the fact that he's likely to be in those woods right ahead of us. Except somebody just killed him. Oh, it wasn't a Jagdtiger, it was a T30. Oh. Anyway, artillery just killed him. I had no idea where he was. So that's making me feel a bit... I mean, look at the scores, we're winning 13-5. With 102mm of frontal armour on this tank, and well, all they have left is a Löwe and their artillery. And there's the Löwe. And this is a pretty good gun. Takes forever to aim, but tends to hit what you shoot at. Oh, and he's seen me, but our Jagdtiger takes him out. So all that's left is artillery. Now, long-time subscribers, regular viewers, know exactly what happens when I shoot at artillery. So here we go, Tier 5 French artillery. What do you think is going to happen when I shoot at him? There he is. Aim, 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 fire. Oh, no damage. Somebody else kills him. I'm not allowed to kill artillery. The game gets really upset if I go around shooting at artillery. It's only allowed to work the other way around. Artillery can shoot me all they like, but I am not allowed to shoot at artillery. And it's, you know, I'm not even on my own account. I just cannot fool the game into letting me kill artillery. I'm on Sean 203's account, and it's still, it's not fooled. So yeah, I mean, that was not a good game at all. But But it wasn't really the fault of the T34. It's just a heavy tank on Malinovka. Less than 1,000 experience for the first win of the day. But still made 60,000 credits. And that's why people buy premium tanks. That was a pretty crap game. And we still made 60,000 credits. So, yeah. So, I mean, if that's the sort of money that this thing can make in a crap game, what can it do in a decent game? I mean, and bear in mind that that's the sort of money that a Tier 6 premium makes in a good game. And that's what a Tier 8 makes in a not very good game. So, let's see a reasonably good game. So, I then find myself on Hallouf in a Tier 10 match. And bloody hell, look at those tank destroyers. A Ferdinand, 2 T95s, a T110 E3, or is it an E4? Whatever, it's a T110 E something, and a Jag Tiger. Oh, and 2 IS7s as well. And, oh, jeez, this is going to be painful. This is going to hurt. And hull down opportunities on this map are strictly limited. So encounter on Hallouf, not my favourite map or mode in the game, but this is what we've got. Got to make the most of it. So I'm going to skip ahead slightly until something interesting happens. Because it can take a while to get around in this tank. There's 1 IS7, 2 IS7. Alright, I ain't going up there. It's just that. Look at the artillery. There's two artillery, Tier 6, Tier 7. They've got advanced warning. I mean, we've got an IS3, an IS7, and what is that? And an M103. That corner is going to be jammed solid. I'm not going to be able to get a decent angle going around, even though I probably have the best tank here, maybe with the exception of the M103, for go and hold down and shooting around the corner. I'm just not going to be able to get it in the right position, and I will get hammered by artillery, so I am just not going to go up there. Speed things up again slightly. I'm keeping an eye on them, because look at those tank destroyers. They're all going to be on that opposite ridge. There's one of their IS7s. Alright. Now would probably be a good time to go up and support. Just split the firepower of the guys firing back at these big boys on the top. There's a bit more space, they're not all clustered around that one corner. I can start using that gun depression. Oh, come on. Good hit on the Ferdinand. See the hole there, right in his flank. Unfortunately, he's now out my view range. Alright, let's move up. There's Tiger 2 down there. And it looks like RT have already shot their bolt, so I should be relatively safe. And there's an amazing gun depression. Good solid hit on the Tiger 2, IS7 finishes him off. Now, I'm not going around the corner the way the IS3 is going, because that ridge is going to be infested with tank destroyers. And what do tank destroyers do? That's right, boys and girls, they destroy tanks. There you go. Ferdinand bounced off the turret. And we penetrated his upper hull. Where did that one hit? Right off the gun mantle. Huzzah. Oh crap, T95. Get down the hill, get down the hill, get down the hill, get down the hill. Oh crap, T110 E3. Oh no, these things are ridiculously hard to penetrate from the front. And even with this, look, even his machine gun turret, just, and look, whoa, he did a lot of damage. So yeah, IS-7, he's all yours. You're tier 10, you go and fight him. Because I see another problem. In fact, what I'm planning on doing here is, screw that, while he's busy with the IS-7, I'll go around and shoot him in the ass. But check this out. Okay, well I can help out here by blowing this guy's tracks off. Yeah, you're not so clever now, are you, pal? And there we go. Tracks. Oh, missed. I think we knocked his engine out. Yeah, I think we're pretty sure we knocked his engine out. It looks like he used a repair kit there. Come on. You're facing the wrong way, boy. Yeah. Oh, just missed. Well, we didn't miss, but just beaten to the shot by our artillery, which is fine. Which is fine. He was only on 9% anyway. Now, check this out. Okay, there's a number of things you can do in this sort of situation. Now, just bear in mind, we've got two IS-7s coming up the hill here, and they have a lot more firepower than I do. So, what's more likely to result in victory for your team? You trying to knock this guy's health down, or being in the single best position to immobilise him and ensure an easy kill for your two IS-7s? Go for the tracks. Every time. He's pinned in place, he's used a repair kit. No T-95 repairs their tracks that quickly without a repair kit. Well, alright, two can play that game. Let's see you use your second repair kit. Oh, that's right, you don't have a second repair kit. Come on, Artie. And Artie, you're playing the ball. Artie, you're shooting at him. There goes the IS-7 around him. Blow his tracks off again. He's dead. You can be a glory hunter, or you can be a team player. Team players have better win rates. Now all they have left is that. Oh, there they go. No, AMX is dead, and it's just artillery. I'm almost afraid to say it. Do you think I'm going to get to take shots at the artillery? Of course I'm not. I'm not allowed to kill artillery. Speed things up. Get to the end. There you go. So, much better game. A much tougher game. We only took one hit, but by God, it was a big one. But yeah, that's a better result. 11 shots fired, 9 hit the target. Actually took 2 hits. Oh, of course, that's right. We had a bounce from the gun mantle, from the Ferdinand that fired back at us. And experience-wise, much better. Tier 8 tank in a Tier 10 game. That's going to happen. But, and this was not a fantastic game. 83,000 credits. And that's why people get themselves premium tanks, Tier 6 and especially Tier 8s. Tier 8s are amazing moneymakers. Now, the question on everybody's lips is, so Jingles, would you recommend a T34? Hell no. Absolutely not. It's going to sound weird because this has been a pretty positive review. I like the T34. I think it's a better Tier 8 heavy tank than the T32. And I liked the T32, so I really like the T34. But there is no way I would buy one. And for a couple of reasons. Most importantly, I already have a Tier 8 premium heavy tank, the Löwe. I'm not going to say this is better than the Löwe, it's different. I think they're both equally capable. But I also have a Tier 8 premium medium tank, Type 59. And the Type 59, I think, for me, is a much better moneymaker than either of the two Tier 8 heavy premiums, the Löwe and the T34. There's a KV5 as well, but that's no longer available in the gift shop. It's only available on special occasions. Now, if you are a better heavy tank driver, and the Type 59 isn't on sale, you might argue, well, should I not then get a Löwe or a T34? And I'd still say, hell no. Do you know how much these things cost? The T34 is 12,000 gold. The Löwe is 12,500. You can get a Super Pershing for 7,000, possibly 7,500. I forget off the top of my head, but it's almost half the price of one of these things. And the Super Pershing has better armour, and earns exactly the same amount of money. And this is the reason people buy premium tanks, because they're fantastically good money makers. So, and all of the Tier 8 premiums have the same credit earning coefficient. So surely it just makes sense to buy the one that's the cheapest, because it's going to make exactly the same money as the one that's the most expensive. And if you can get a Super Pershing for 7,500, and you know what, I've been playing the Super Pershing on the test server, and it's a surprisingly good tank, way better than I was expecting it to be. I'm going to try and get a review of that up soon as well. Why on earth anybody would want to get one of these instead of a Super Pershing or the Type 59 when it's on sale? I mean, if the Type 59's on sale and you want a premium moneymaker, buy the Type 59, because it's not that expensive and it's fantastic. Failing that, get the Super Pershing, but I cannot recommend anybody buys, despite how good they are, I cannot recommend anybody buy one of the Tier 8 heavy premium tanks, because they're just too expensive. You're talking about forking over the same amount of cash for one premium tank as a completely brand new AAA PC game. I mean, Borderlands 2 is coming out in a week or so, and that's cheaper than a T34 in World of Tanks. So, no, I wouldn't recommend anybody buys one of these. It doesn't mean they're bad tanks. They're not. They're good tanks. I like them. But they're not worth the money. Definitely not. If you want a premium moneymaker, don't buy one of these. Get yourself a Type 59 when it's on sale. Or if you absolutely definitely have to have a premium Tier 8 moneymaker today, go out and buy yourself a Super Pershing. Which is a shame, because it's code and pixels. It's not like I do not understand why the Tier 8 heavies are so expensive. They're just code and pixels. It's not like Wargaming had to go out and write heavy tank code, which takes longer and is more expensive than writing medium tank code. It's just lines of computer code. It doesn't cost them anything to make these tanks available. It's the price is just artificially inflated because people think, oh, it's a heavy tank, so I'll pay more money for it. No, don't pay more money for them. Really, don't do it. If you have to, get yourself a Super Pershing. If you don't have to have one today, and you're prepared to wait a few weeks or a month or two, get yourself a Type 59. But just, really, not worth the money. If you've already got one, I'm preaching to the choir here. You know that they're good tanks. There's nothing wrong with them at all. But there's absolutely no reason for you to go out and buy any other premium Tier 8 tank if you already own one of them, because they're all just as good as each other. And these are far too expensive. 7,500 gold for a Super Pershing that earns exactly the same amount of credits as a T34 or a Löwe, for which you will pay 12,000 gold or more. It's just basic economics. So, notwithstanding the fact that, I have enjoyed playing the T34, it's not a bad tank at all. Thank you very much to Sean203 for the use of his account for a couple of days so I could get my hands on this thing. But there's no way I'm going to buy one of these. And I could not recommend anybody else to buy one either. So, certainly hope you enjoyed the review. Possibly a slightly controversial ending, but take care, see you on the battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.